Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to Seven Scorpion Tarot. I am your host with the most, and I want to welcome you to tonight's reading. So, tonight and today, actually, the moon is full, cusping in your sign and Cancer today. So, I wanted to do a reading with that correspondence in play right now. And so, I've got my Christmas present to myself out here now. We're going to be reading with that for the first time here. This is the last unicorn deck. Um, and I found another deck on there. Of course, it came up on sale when I was looking for my Christmas present to myself, called the Audacity deck. And how can you not? How can you not? And this was really important to me this year to make a point to get my Christmas present for me because last year I put it off and then ultimately didn't get myself anything, or at least what I was planning. I think I did something small, but like I can't even remember what I did. So this was one of the first things I did on this paycheck here. So I think that is maybe an important theme for some of us is the self-care, of course, as it often is in tarot land. But let's get some cards, maybe see what might have come up from the depths from the new moon in Sagittarius now to the full moon here in Gemini and Cancer, cusping on both of those signs, and Mercury is stationing direct in Sagittarius today. I think that's right. But let's see. Let's see what's going on. And I want to get, we'll do 3 cards. So self, shadow, and ego. See what's going on. This is an absolutely beautiful deck. I love the gold edge, the art. This is one of my favorite movies as a kid. Still watch it from time to time for sure as an adult. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm definitely feeling that like kind of twin energy recently. I've been dealing with some health stuff, so I've kind of had to, have that put the brave face on, in front of people, and then I can be my sick self in private. So, 10 of Wands. Okay, speaking of the sick self, of a burden, a heavy burden. Such pretty cards. I love it. Yes, kitten. Yeah. But that could be something you guys are dealing with too. Something in the self that is just a heavy burden right now. It doesn't have to necessarily be health issues. It could be interpersonal stuff. I mean, it is, the holidays. The holidays aren't always a happy time, and they aren't a happy time for everybody. So there could be a lot going on in the self. So you guys might also be feeling that duality of self of, like I got to put on the mask, I got to put on the front just to, you know, function and be out in the world and interacting with people, or even at the limited interactions that you might have. I know me working from home, when I'm not feeling good, I definitely limit interactions with people because you got to do what you do, got to do what you got to do to get through. So let's see what's going on in the shadow. At least for me, dealing with health stuff, it'll be like one thing right after the other. Like when you've got multiple chronic things going on, like one will come up and then the other one's like, "Hey, don't forget about me." Like, nope, sure didn't. Kind of hoping you would stay in your lane, but nope. But it's nice to have the energy to do this again. I've had to be in energy conservation mode. Yes, kitten. You are over an hour early for chicken. Yeah. Do you not understand linear time? No. She doesn't. That's okay. So a card for the shadow. A little staticky. Four of coins and judgment. Ooh. Hmm. Judgment around resources. Maybe resources are affecting your judgment. That could be going on with the holiday season. You know, things are expensive, gift buying, that feeling that obligation to spend. I know I've got a Friendsmas planned where we have already planned to not get each other stuff just to reduce some stress, and I am here for it. Justice in the shadow. Ooh, heavy, heavy energy. So justice in the shadow, 10 of wands in the self. So something might feel unbalanced, or maybe something is unbalanced. I don't want to imply that like that felt like one of those not apologies, like I'm sorry you feel that way. Like something in the shadow relating to maybe how you relate to themes of justice, the structures of justice, and it's creating a burden within the self that, you know, in my example of living with, you know, chronic health conditions, uh, sometimes it feels unfair, you know, having to carry that burden that I didn't ask for, I didn't do things to earn. You're just, it is the way it is. Like, and it doesn't feel right. And I think it's got an extra layer, you know, given that one of those health conditions is post traumatic stress disorder, that, you know, had people not chosen to treat me the way that they did, maybe I could have escaped some of that. Not all of it, because some of it's medical trauma, but it would have lightened the load had people just not been horrible to me. Like, so maybe you're reconciling with those ideas right now or contending with them, attempting to reconcile them, that something in your life is unjust and it's created a burden within the self. I think that's going to show up in an interesting way in the ego. Because I hear a lot of, like, I guess, judgment. Well, this is justice, not judgment, but judgment towards, like, don't don't be a victim, victim mentality, so on and so forth. Taking the time to acknowledge and sit with those feelings that, yes, the situation you're in is in fact unfair, I think is a really important part of healing, and having to face those wounds head on and say, no, I didn't deserve that. I did not deserve to be treated that way. I didn't deserve the things that I experienced. And they still happened. Like, that's that's the really tricky part that I've found in therapy. The why me? The Out of all the remotest of remote possibilities, why did this happen to me specifically? And yeah, we can explain things away with, don't take it personally, don't, it wasn't about you, so on and so forth. Sometimes it was, because they were, doing it to me. Like, I don't know. We're so ready, the fool. Um, we're so ready to dismiss the feelings of survivors, of people living with trauma, just to invalidate them. Like, the same people that will put a little ribbon on their profile pictures that says, yeah, I support, women's rights and PTSD and so on and so forth, people living with mental illnesses, but then immediately turn around and invalidate us. Doesn't make sense to me. It's I guess, the keyboard warriors and virtue signaling and whatnot. It drives me crazy because they want the, like, look at me, I'm supportive. And then you go to them for support and they're like, wait, what? That's too many. He's telling me to get off my soapbox. Oh, 4 of coins again. That was on the split. I'm going to take that. So 4 of coins, 4 of pentacles. This was I guess, the hag that captured the unicorn. And then, like, she had also captured a harpy in the movie and other creatures. Or the harpy was, yeah, not that I'm going to spoil something from the 80s, but you should watch it if you haven't seen it. But so a bit of a deceptive energy, because she was putting on spells to make random creatures that she'd captured seem like mythical creatures, except for the two that truly were mythical creatures. And this is in the ego side, so the way that we're interacting with the external world. So maybe these things that you've gone through that were unfair, with the burden that they've put on you, is affecting your approach to and your relationship with resources. Because since this is in the ego space and where the persona would fall in that external mask, and in regards to the material realm, this is very 3D, very in reality grounded concern. Maybe the things you've been through make you feel like you need to be deceptive. And I don't mean that in like a judgmental way. I just mean that in like a survival way. That, like, I can't imagine if squirrels had the ability to talk, that they would go broadcasting to the world where they hid all their acorns. They would probably keep it to themselves, just in the interest of survival. Yes, thank you, kitten. Confirmation meow. But with the theme of the movie, that she really had two mythical creatures hidden amongst all of her like illusion spells. Like, people really wanted to see the real thing. That's what they were after. So I think rolling with that analogy is the thing to do, that like the people in your life want to see the real you. And like, issue trust where it's earned, you know. It's exciting once you get in touch with the authentic self, that yes, you want to share it with, every single person. You want to yell it from the rooftops. Not every single person deserves your trust, you know, and you don't want to live in that space of, people have hurt me and therefore I can never trust anybody ever again. It's, I don't know, it's complicated. Like, I want to say, like, do they mean well? That's not necessarily enough, because, like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But are they learning from their mistakes? Are they making an effort to improve? Are they, like, when you share complaints, issues, so on and so forth with them, do they take those to heart, or do they blow them off? Like, you kind of got to take things as they come, you know? So let's get an audacious card for a little underlying energy here. This also has that holographic, like foil edging to it that I really like. They're like the fanciest cards I've ever bought for myself. I'm happy about it. And the cardstock, so cool. A lot of deep stuff on the full moon, though. Not that I would expect anything less for a full moon. Ooh, the tower. So this deck is interesting. It's got some cards that mirror the like the major arcana, and then some that definitely don't, like the cheese fries. But this is very tower-like, and it looks like they're taking selfies as they fall down from this tower, which is interesting. So it's not time yet, kitten. Huh. This I'm feeling like kind of like what I said about just being able to read people in your life. Like this is kind of the opposite reaction you would expect to some kind of disaster, like taking selfies and whatnot. Like, oh, like those, keyboard warriors, like the virtue signaling. Um, they want to be seen, like they want to be seen in proximity to the destruction. That, like, yeah, it was helping, like I was near it, without actually doing any help or doing anything helpful. So that kind of conundrum of like, well, not even conundrum, but actions speak louder than words, you know? Like just watch what they do, not necessarily what they say. And that could be very burdensome if you have a lot of people in your life that they say all the right things, but then when ish hits the fan, they're just taking pictures of the destruction. They're not putting water on the flames or trying to cushion their fall, anything like that. Just almost that like dualistic energy, like I was talking about at the beginning of like, I have to act like I'm fine even when I'm sick, like experiencing symptoms and stuff. And that can express itself in a multitude of ways. So a lot to think about, but overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.